I've heard people say multiple times that eating healthy is expensive. If I'm being honest, I've also said that to myself a number of times, especially in those times that I'm trying to justify eating something junk. But for the past month or so, I decided that I was going to pick healthier alternatives or healthier meal options as opposed to, eating junk or things that are not necessarily beneficial to my body for several reasons, one of them being health reasons. And after about 40 days of doing that on and off, I've begun to question the idea that eating healthy is expensive. But honestly, what do you think? Is eating healthy truly expensive? Or are we just making excuses to eat crap and junk that are harmful to our bodies? In true Antwiwaa fashion, if you're new here, my name is Antwiwaa. I decided that I was going to conduct an experiment, make it a little bit more fun. How about we compare an entire day of eating and 24 hours of eating? So that's lunch first, breakfast, lunch, and supper. 3 healthy meal options. We compare that to 3 unhealthy junk-like meal options, and we find out which one will cost more at the end of the day or long term. It's kind of like a random idea I had, if you're being honest. But if you want to indulge me and you have the time of day, pick a side. You have to pick a side. Healthy food or unhealthy food, which is going to cost more? Pick your side. You can leave it in the comments if you like. I've picked my side. I think healthy food is going to cost less based on everything I've been eating for the past 30 days. But I may be wrong, I may be right. So whether you agree or not, hold that thought. Let's go get breakfast and see how that one turns out. For breakfast, I'm craving something protein, something packed with protein, but then something spicy as well. So I'm thinking of frittata, but like a revised version of a frittata. For that, I'm gonna use some olive oil because healthy. And I'm gonna use some vegetables, onions, just pepper and some bell pepper. That's pretty much all the vegetables I'm using. And since we are checking the price, then I'm going to value these vegetables and oil that I'm going to use for this particular meal at 5 cedis. That's very generous. And then I'm going to go in with my tuna flakes. This is an entire tin or can of tuna flakes, and it costs 10 cedis for this particular can or tin of tuna flakes. So I'm just adding that in and stirring it a bit. And I'm going to add some salt. This is literally a pinch of salt. So I'm going to add that to the 5 cedis I value veggies and spices at. Now I'm going to stir. Let that cook for a bit. I love that healthy breakfast, or even breakfast in general, are literally the easiest things to make. You don't have to think too hard. Just put everything in, stir it, and you're good to go. Anyway, once my vegetables are slightly cooked, I'm gonna turn off the fire, get a clean saucepan, and I'm gonna go in with my eggs. I'm using 3 eggs, and all 3 eggs cost 6 cedis. If you do the math, one of them is just 2 cedis. And if you ask me, that's pretty affordable, considering the fact that this meal we're preparing is not going to be just one serving. But anyway, I put a little bit of oil into the pan, which I shouldn't have done because this thing has so much oil, if you're being honest. And now I'm pouring my egg into it. I make sure that my egg gets into every corner, and then I pop that into the oven. Okay, so I got distracted. I was doing something in the room, and so it's a bit bent. I'm hoping that it hasn't gone that deep, but yeah, it's bent. It's not that bad. It's brown, so I'll just let it cool down and try to see if I can take it out and get a good nice shape, or it's just going to be distorted. So I let it cool down for some time, and it came out rather nicely. This is what it looks like. Oh, I don't want to break it apart. But yeah, this for me would be maybe 3 servings or 4 servings if I'm having it with some tea. But this is what it looks like. Wanted to show you first. I ended up making 2 servings just to keep it fair, because I don't know, some of us can eat. The 2 servings, the entire meal costs about 21 cedis to make. Split that into 2, it'll be 10 cedis, 50 pesos. I'm having mine with tea, so I'm valuing my tea at about 4 cedis because it's pretty much just warm water, a little bit of honey, and a tea bag. And to be honest, that's not expensive. So for breakfast, I'm spending approximately 15 cedis. I'm not going to convert this to dollars because it's an ISO. If you want a conversion, you can only do that yourself, okay? All right, let's move to lunch. For lunch, I want to keep it fair, so I want to cook something that is rice based, like a rice dish, because I know some of us cannot live without rice. So let's cook something with rice. First of all, oil and onions. These onions cost about 3 cedis, and I'm being very generous with the money right now. I feel like you could get these same onions for 2 cedis. And then these tomatoes cost 2 cedis. I just sliced them, and this is about 1 cedi worth of pepper. So I put all of that into the oil, and now I'm stirring, and I leave it to cook a bit. Once it's cooked a bit, I'm gonna add my tomato paste. I used 2 packs of tomato paste. 1 pack is 3 cedis. 2 packs makes it 6 cedis worth of tomato paste. I add that to my mixture. Ooh, I burn my onions a bit, but yeah, that's that. So I mix that and I let that simmer and cook for a bit, and then I add my water. Can you guess what's cooking? No? Okay, you find out very soon. So I add my water to the mix, and then I let that actually cook. Once that is cooked, I'm gonna season it. I'm adding a little bit of salt. I'm gonna add the value of all these tiny spices to the value of the oil, so relax for me. Add a little bit of salt, and now I'm adding my washed rice. I bought 1 kilo of rice, and I split that into two. The kilo is 20 cedis, and I split that into two, so this is about 10 cedis worth of rice I'm adding to this stew mixture. Now I guess you can tell what I'm making. Yeah. Next thing is chicken. I bought a kilo of chicken, and it cost me 22 cedis. But I already used a little bit of it, so this is less than a kilo of chicken. But let's assume this is a kilo of chicken, so this is about 22 cedis worth of chicken. Like I already said, I'm being very generous with this money. Anyway, once the chicken is done frying, the jollof is almost about to be ready. I'll stir it in a bit. Maybe add a little bit too much water, but that's fine. Stir it a bit. I'm gonna add the remainder of the frozen vegetables I have in my fridge. This is such a tiny amount of vegetable. I'm not even sure how much to value these for, but I'm going to be generous a bit and say that I'm going to value it at 10 cedis. I don't think it's fair, but let's take that. So after that, I put my foil on it and let it cook, and this is how my jollof came out. Slightly soggier than I wanted, but I'm not complaining. It looks very yum. The value of the jollof alone is about 48 cedis. I value the oil and the tiny seasonings I use at 10 cedis. I'm adding that to every single thing I use, and 48 cedis. That's how much it costs to make this jollof. I got about 4 to 5 portions for this particular meal, so let's just say 4 portions. So 48 divided by 4 is 12 cedis. So this is 12 cedis worth of jollof, which is, I'm cheating. Like at this point, I'm cheating. I'm inflating everything, but it's okay. And the chicken, I'm having 2 pieces of chicken, which will cost about 8 cedis, looking at how much we already use. And I made a little bit of salad on the side. Salad costs about 10 cedis to make, also being very generous with the money. And I just took a little portion of the salad. I'm going to value that at 2 cedis. So this is a plate of, well-balanced meal. Jollof is costing 12 cedis, plus the chicken, 8 cedis, plus the salad will bring our entire meal to 22 cedis. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 22 cedis worth of jollof chicken and salad. Tell me where I can get a burger for 22 cedis, and I would end the video right here. Just let me know right now. Yeah, I thought so too. Let's move on to supper, shall we? For supper, I wanted something light, something that would not disturb my sleeping anyways. I decided to make some light soup, some tilapia light soup. So onion, 2 cedi, tomatoes, 2 cedi. Pepper is about 1 cedi worth of pepper, and then I'm adding some green pepper and some carrots. I'm gonna value both of them at 4 cedis. Let's say each is 2 cedi, because some of these things can be a little expensive than regular tomatoes and stuff. So I put that to boil in just regular water, nothing in the water, just plain water. Let that boil so that the veggies will cook, and then I'm transferring the boiled or cooked vegetables into my blender, and then I'm gonna go ahead and blend that till it's smooth. So while it's blending, I'm going to add some more water to my pot, to my saucepan. I'm going to add tomato paste. This one, 3 cedis, I use just 1 sachet. And then once my tomato paste is boiling, I'm going to add the blended stuff, the blended veggies I just blend it. I would usually sieve it, but I don't have my sieve, so I'm just praying that my blender did a good job. Now I'm gonna add my fish. I'm marinating this all night. I put it in the fridge last night. It's been in there till around this time. I'm now transferring the fish into my mixture. And I'm putting the fish in now because the fish can break apart if I let it overcook, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm putting it in now that the soup is almost ready. I added my seasoning, which is salt and cube seasoning. And then I also added just a few bits of chili. I'm going to value that at about 1 cedi or like 2 cedis. And I'm going to leave the soup to boil so that my fish can actually cook as well. And that is it. This entire soup cost about 65 cedis to make. I'm going to split it into 3 portions so that I can have like 2 pieces of fish every time I eat it. And 65 divided by 3 is about 22 cedis. So this is 22 cedis worth of soup. Very yum, very delicious, and all of that. Now I'm sure you want to know how much 24 hours of clean eating or healthy eating costs. And from breakfast through to lunch and supper cost exactly 59 cedis. 59 cedis. Need I say more? Like, do I have to say anything else? Because I can tell you for a fact, for free, that I've paid over 100 cedis for a medium-sized pizza. Just not too long ago. I also will be the first to admit that some healthy food options can be expensive. Like if you're going to do the almond milk, the almond flours, seafood, all of that stuff, it can get expensive. But if you're somebody that is actually genuinely have the desire to eat healthy, you don't have to get all those things to be able to have a good meal every single day. Of course, you can do that like every once in a while. Basically, all I'm saying is anybody who uses eating healthy as being expensive as an excuse as to why, as an excuse why they're not eating healthy, that's an excuse. That's 110% of an excuse. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. I'm open to having a discussion respectfully, so do let me know in the comments. Otherwise, all I'm going to say is eating healthy really expensive, or are you just making an excuse to eat all the junk that you know are not entirely good for you? Yeah, I'm judging you. Anyway, check out this video for my 2 weeks of eating healthy and how I managed to lose about 8 pounds from that. Click on the video right here and I will see you in this one. Peace out.